Your Steve Jones Show podcast will start shortly. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Brewers Outlet, your beverage supermarket on Reagan Street in Sunbury. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Hey there, how are you? Friday edition of the Steve Jones Show as we head for the weekend on News Radio 1070. WKOK and Sean Carey. Steve will be in the Sunbury Motors Studio momentarily. Sunbury Motors Ford Lincoln Hyundai in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia on the Strip, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And our Friday edition of the Steve Jones Show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, the beverage supermarket on Reagan Street in Sunbury. Stop by, check out some of their new items. From Mother Earth Brew Company, Dogfish Head, also Broken IPA brews, and how about this? A lineup of Yingling barbecue sauces now at Brewers Outlet.
Yingling barbecues.
That's right. And you thought they only made beer and ice cream. Yeah, there's a lager barbecue sauce. There's a
that I knew about. I'm glad that Brewers Outlet's carrying it.
Yeah, they have a bacon flavored barbecue sauce, hickory smoked porter.
Ooh, nice.
Black and tan honey barbecue sauce as well.
Very nice.
There you go. And so
big.
Much more, yeah.
Like
Find
that.
them a stone throw away from the pickle bar.
Well, if it's a stone throw away from the pickle bar, you're right there in the same neighborhood. You're good. Yeah.
So when I was catching up with your brother a couple of weeks ago on the phone, he sent his condolences to me and appreciated it very much. And the first thing I said to him, I said to him, "You said where are your pickles in French on the show?"
He did.
He sure did.
He did. Right. It was not smooth. I mean, for all we know, he said your ox has been gored. I don't know what I mean, in French, he may have. I don't know. It was not smooth.
We should have had Laura Scott listen to that. She speaks French. She's very fluent in French.
Oh, good.
I'll have to run that back to her on the podcast when she comes back from vacation. She's in Norway right now. Her and her husband are in Norway.
I think she told me that.
Yeah, she's a very good friend.
Yeah.
She is a very good friend. I think that I believe she and her husband landed in Oslo, I think, earlier today as we speak.
Oh, good for them.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Her husband's a big Notre Dame guy.
They are.
Yeah. So I like them, but nobody's perfect. All right. So next week, let's see. Next week, they'll hand out the posters for the upcoming season. They always do that. They pick a day to do it. So Thursday is going to be the day they're going to do it. Last year, Saquon was among those handing the posters out. It was a mob scene.
Yeah.
He could barely breathe last year, handing out posters. It has really been, Penn State football has always been immensely popular. It's always been passionate, even in the quote, leaner times where, obviously I had to, I'd go out and speak to various groups, and I've got a bunch of them coming up in the month of August. I got one at the end of July as well. So I got one at the end of July and then several in August, including on the 22nd. I know we'll be all set on the 22nd, I believe, correct?
That's right.
Of August to come in there. And I'll combine that with then going up to a Spikes Crosscutters game to broadcast that. But there's always been a special passion about it. But there's been a different intensity to it that to me rivals the late 70s and mid 80s. I mean, I have not seen this level of passion from fans since that time. And the players are going to go out and do this, which is, part of the promotion for the upcoming season and so forth. And they are just, they can't get enough of this. They can't get enough of the program of the team.
Well, it was quite the dark period earlier this decade, and now they are truly built for the long term. They're recruiting like crazy. You got more than 6,300 new season tickets sold for the 2018 season.
On top of the ones they sold last year.
Yes, yeah.
On top of the ones they sold last year.
Yeah, what's cool with these poster pickup parties, they got one planned for Pittsburgh. They're going to be over in North Jersey. There's one planned for Metro D.C., and this is really cool.
It's just a schedule poster.
Yeah, it's just handing out posters.
Okay, they're not sitting there saying, "Hi there, I'm William Devane. I have free gold." I mean, it's a schedule poster.
Hi, I'm George Hamilton. I have some KFC. Or you would need some suntan lotion.
What do you think of my tan?
Tan man.
The tan man. But it's a poster.
It doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but for so many Penn State fans that don't have season tickets, that may only get to Blue White every year, it means the world to them to get a chance to interact with their players.
And that's my point.
Sure.
My point is that this program right now is so intriguing and exciting for people that a schedule poster handout is just awesome. It's incredible. You can pick them up at any store. And these people love it. They eat it up. I think it's great. I mean, again, I've already made a couple of speeches in a couple of areas. I did so in the month of, I guess, late April and into May. All right? June, nobody wanted to hear from me.
Go golfing. We'll get back to you.
Hit the link. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great. But that's what you have. Is there's a passion out there that I have not seen in 30-something years. It doesn't mean that there always wasn't the passion wasn't high. Yeah, the passion was high in the early 90s and the 94 season and things like that. Yeah, there was a great passion. But I'm talking about, like, there are levels of it. And in the late 70s into the mid 80s, whoa, unbelievable. But now, sometimes when you get knocked down a few pegs and you have to then resurrect yourself. And Penn State being knocked down a few pegs is remarkable. They never once finished under 500. Not one time did they ever finish under 500. Remarkable. Most programs could not have done that under the circumstances. The vast majority of programs under the circumstances could not have done that. Well, now when you're kind of like, oh boy, you're the underdog in the game. You're an underdog in this game. When you win one, it's considered an upset. Right? That's not the norm of what Penn State football's been. And the norm over the years is if Penn State lost a game, it was a 50-50 game, and if somebody beat them where it wasn't a 50-50 game, it was like Penn State got upset. Well, now you see what they've done the last 2 years. the fan base has gone off the charts. You know, what's happened in wrestling has really helped. No question about that. But I have not seen the enthusiasm. I mean, if anybody can gauge it, it's me. I mean, I've been here for 40 years. You know, I'll make one quick comment about the 40 years thing, that I've been around it for 40 years. And obviously this will be, what, my 27th season on the Football Network, and the 19th doing play-by-play. All right. I've had so many people come up to me and ask me, said, are you going to be retiring? Retiring from what? I'm over here at the ice cream shop. What the heck do I want to retire from this for? I think they're more asking if I want to retire from doing like shows like these and things like that. But I've been asked that like a lot lately. Now, I think part of it is that there are the people that are asking me, have they themselves retired, and they're relatively the same age I am.
Yeah, you have mentioned a few times you turned 60 back in January. Maybe they just, they've heard that, and but to you, that doesn't faze you at all.
I could care less.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean anything. Yeah. There are people doing this job into their 70s. So, I'm having a better time now than I ever have in my career. I mean, really, I'm literally having a better time, more fun than at any time. And my son Dan and I went out, played 9 holes of golf this morning. I had a blast. And the two of us had a lot of laughs and the whole deal. I mean, we just had a lot of fun. And then he and his great wife, or Candace, are driving right now. They're probably listening to the show right now as they're driving along. So we had a great time today. And we only played 9 holes, and, he had 34. I shot 36. I thought we played. Figured I'd make it sound better.
That sounds really good.
Sound a lot better than we realized.
But the funny part is, I believed you.
Yeah. It's
But now what we'll do for those who want information on the Penn State football poster parties, we'll post this on the Facebook page. In case you're going to be in and around State College next week, or if you happen to be listening to us on the podcast, either from Philly or Harrisburg or the Hershey area or North Jersey, we'll post that info here in the Facebook.
Awesome. And throw it out on the Twitter account, too.
I will.
Yeah, throw that on the Twitter account, too.
I'm a Twitter guy.
Yes, you are. Yes, you do a great job with it. All right, we'll take a break. Okay. Brewers Outlet. Dun, 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 dun. Brewers Outlet. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we'll come back with more in a moment on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle in a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you, the other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years.
So Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods want to play for $10 million. Mano a mano for $10 million. Now, it should be pointed out that between TV rights, sponsorships, and so forth, Neither one is going to take a $10 million hit for losing. They will both make money out of it. But how about that? Playing for $10 million. Now that would be something I think people would watch.
I'd be curious as to where they would play it. Would they play it out at Pebble, or would they, maybe play it at one of the courses where they had those Skins games? Those November Skins games. They may play at one of those courses, or
well, the original location they wanted to pick was Las Vegas. To play there. No,
where they play that Pro-Am, or
yeah,
or is that in Tahoe?
But they had talked about playing in July 3rd originally. So in other words, that date's come and gone. What in the heck do you want to play golf on July 3rd in Las Vegas for?
In between majors, too.
Yeah, but it's so hot. I mean, Las Vegas, it gets over 100 degrees in the first week of July. Now, it's a dry heat. I always love that. It's a dry heat. Oh, cut me a break. I realized that 85, I cut the lawn on the 4th of July in the morning before the rain came. And it was the single most oppressive I've ever felt when I was done. Like, wow. Boy, that was really, right. Now it's 85. Now, I realize, quote, it's a dry heat, but it's 105, still 105. That's 20 degrees hotter than when I cut the lawn in the other day. 20 degrees hotter. The heck you want to play golf in that for? I don't think so. Pick something cool. Go from there. But $10 million gets your attention. $10 million gets your attention. And you know what the two of them have in common besides major championships? And the fact that they're in their 40s? Each one, under the rules of golf, is allowed 14 clubs in the bag. Neither one carries a chutter.
Oh, wow.
In fact, there are 160 pros with their card in the tour. And coincidentally,
nada.
European tour, no.
No? Okay.
Asian tour, no.
You would think.
Now, at the Northern Canadian Open in Banff, no. We're going to have Andrew Callahan on the show today. Looking forward to hearing from him. He's making the move to masslive.com to cover the Patriots. So we're going to talk to him about what he thinks of Penn State football, what he learned from the beat, and also what he found to be his most intriguing stories on the beats. We're going to talk to him about all that before he leaves, and he'll be back on at some point.
Oh, before Steelers Patriots? Absolutely.
Oh, no, we'll get him back on several times. Believe me. He'll still be a regular. He's just changing location. But we wish him nothing but the best. The Phillies play the Pirates tonight. It's a 6:30 start tonight, 7:05. Pirates are coming off a lousy West Coast trip, which include 3 straight losses to the Dodgers to end it. The Phillies are riding high right now. They'd be in the wild card game as of today. And Aaron Nola, as of today, I think would be the leading candidate to win the Cy Young Award. I mean, you look at the analytics on Nola, on the Cy Young predictor, he's first by a wide margin right now. So if you're really into analytics and you're looking at it, Aaron Nola is head and shoulders above anybody else right now on the analytics side of the Cy Young race. Now, you don't need just analytics. I mean, I'll give you a good example about why you always can't go on analytics. Who's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL on analytics? Tyrod Taylor. Now, does anybody out there feel that Tyrod Taylor should be among the contenders, feel that Tyrod Taylor should be their starting quarterback? No, he plays it too safe. Analytics loves that. You got to have a little more I mean, something a little more bold in your quarterback game to be a difference maker.
Cheer them on, Cleveland.
But when it comes to, for example, what you're seeing with Aaron Nola, you can see analytics matches.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And today's show brought to you by Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Imports, domestics, microbrews, best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and hot every day. I'll tell you, those Yingling barbecue sauces sound great, Sean. My goodness. Fabulous.
Got to stock up on those, yeah. Bacon flavor, wow. Hickory, honey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Got a fresh new lineup of some IPAs and Dogfish Head brews just in time for July.
You know what's second to none, though? The pickle bar.
Oh, yeah.
Led by the Barrels and the Dills. I mean, really. Yes. I mean, it's all at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury. The beverage supermarket. All right, let's get to this day in sports history. Andrew Callahan next half hour as he concludes his run as a beat writer for covering Penn State to now covering the New England Patriots for MassLive.com. And we'll talk to him in the next half hour about some of the stories he's covered over time and also talk with him about what he's looking forward to. And what he learned on this beat. Callahan's a New England guy, by the way. So for him to go there, that's big. And it'll be great for him, great for his family, everything. So we're looking forward to it. All right, let's get to this day in sports history. The All-Star Game figures prominently here, especially with two games. So we'll do this in order here. 1933, the first All-Star Game was held at Comiskey Park in Chicago. The American League beat the National League 4-2. Babe Ruth hit the first All-Star home run. 1957, Althea Gibson won the Wimbledon women's singles title. She was the first black athlete to win the event. Now back to the All-Star Game. The 50th anniversary of the All-Star Game was moved back to Comiskey Park in Chicago. And the American League did win, and they did so with a slice of history, as Fred Lynn of the California Angels became the first player to hit a grand slam in the history of the All-Star Game, and the American League won 13-3. 1985, Martina Navratilova won her fourth consecutive Wimbledon singles title. 1995, in Los Angeles, the prosecution rested at the O.J. Simpson murder trial. 1996, Steffi Graf won her seventh Wimbledon title. 2000, a jury awarded former NHL player Tony Twist $24 million for the unconsented use of his name in the comic book Spawn and the HBO cartoon series. Co-defendant HBO settled with Twist out of court for an undisclosed amount. This is where we talk about likeness. college players would like this. That's one of the areas where I felt the Rice Commission fell short. They should have recommended that college athletes be allowed the rights to their likeness, where if somebody wants to do a car commercial or advertise for a restaurant or be in a video game, they have the ability to profit from their likeness. And I felt that was important that they do that. And I felt that was one recommendation. Is one of the initial recommendations I was looking for was that they would allow them to do that, and it never came to pass. I was surprised by that. Now, is it tricky? Yeah, but there are a lot of elements in college sports that are tricky right now. I mean, everyone knows, I love football. I love football. I also want it to be as safe as possible, but I love football. I love the strategy of it. I love the teamwork of it. There's so many elements. And I don't want to see, I don't mind seeing some changes, but others, for example, like the kickoff rule. You can fair catch it comes out to the 25. Now, look, if I'm Penn State and you've got, let's just pick one, Journey Brown. He'd be a possibility back there this year. Do you think Journey Brown's going to fair catch a ball? There's no way in the planet Journey Brown's going to fair catch a ball. Now, one of the up guys in this past season was Koa Farmer. Do you think Koa Farmer is going to fair catch a ball? No. Now, Simpson was one of the middle guys, would be stationed between the 15 and 20. He might fair catch it. All right, and that's fine. You take it out to the 25. But these other guys, they are not going to fair catch the ball. I can't picture that. Because as athletes, they think they have the ability to take it all the way on any play. So I don't see how that's going to work. You look at the Alliance of American Football, I'm going to be very interested to see, and I realize you're talking about this will not be the best players. They'll be very good, but not the best players, because obviously the best are in the NFL. And there'll be some players out of the Alliance of American Football that may end up in NFL training camps. I mean, that's what they're hoping. They're hoping the NFL sits there and watches you play. San Antonio's playing Atlanta, and they're watching, this is the third time I've seen you this year. It's pretty good. We ought to invite Bobby to our camp. I mean, Bobby's pretty good. He might be able to help us. That's what the Alliance for American Football is hoping will happen. But I'm going to be intrigued to watch some of it because they're going to be using rules that will maybe give us an eye to the future. And the Alliance of American Football is not a rival league, so I don't want to put that in the same category. But rival leagues have always provided a window that's then later forced the established league to say, you know what, that's the right way to do it. The NBA. The NBA never had the three-point shot. The ABA, when it came into existence in 67, 68, had the three-point shot. And it wasn't until the merger between the two that the three-point shot came into the NBA. Well, now the three-point shot is considered invaluable today. You've got kids out on playgrounds right now, and they all think they're Steph Curry. That's perfectly fine because of the point value of the shot. It's exciting. Well, that emanated from the ABA. In the NFL, the two-point conversion, for example, has been used by college and was used in the AFL all the time. Two-point conversion finally came into play in the NFL, and the NFL's made a lot of changes. The pass defense rules in the NFL, I mean, the AFL showed you should be throwing the football. Throw the ball. I mean, the USFL is the same way. USFL, now the WFL had something called the action point, where you did not kick extra points. You always had to you had to run a play to get the point. It was called an action point. WHA, yeah, it's stretch passes, not a two-line offside. Now, of course, you've got, and the WHA also did a great job of getting European players in. The NHL did not want to have did not go with European players, Canadian and a few Americans. Well, the WHA said, we'll take talent from wherever. And the influx of European players into the WHA then led to eventually the influx of European players into the game today. So rival leagues have always had the ability to take more risks with the rules, and then eventually the more established leagues grab onto them and go from there. So now let's go to the Alliance of American Football, not a rival league, but are they providing us with a blueprint of what we might see? Number one, there'll be no kickoffs in the Alliance of American Football. The ball will be placed on the 25-yard line to start. There are no extra points, all two-point conversions. And here's the big one, and this is the one I find the single most intriguing. Because in terms of doing something a little bold, a little better, a little more exciting, I'd love to see this adopted in college football. And that is, instead of the onside kick and the scrum that goes with it, put the ball on the 35-yard line, and if you make a first down, you keep the ball. If they stop you, they get the ball. Now, to me, on that play, wouldn't everybody in the stadium be on their feet for that play? Because at that point, you feel like everything is riding now on that play. Instead of a scrum where, and to be honest with you, what's the success rate on an onside kick? I think it's less than 10% now, right? It's definitely less than 15%. It's less than 15%. What the heck? Run a play. You get 10 yards, 11, 12, whatever. But you keep the ball. I think every person in the stands will be on their feet for something like that. Because they've changed the onside kick rules so much now where you can't load up. You can't. It makes it very hard to convert. It's not. It's not a play of great success. So that's one I'm going to watch to see, because that's one I wouldn't mind seeing adopted, because I think that'd be a really different way of doing it. And I think it would be fun. And the entire point is to be entertaining, to be fun.
I could almost have like a rugby scrum kind of feel to it, maybe, but it got me to thinking of the NFL, kickoffs in the NFL. It's just, I might as well just get rid of them already. I mean, it's not like okay, touchdown, point after touchdown, okay, timeout on the field. It's like you're not in a hurry to get back into the living room because you're not going to miss anything. It's just every kick goes into the end zone now.
Well, in college, they'll return them.
Yeah.
But my point is this fair catch thing.
Right.
It's Sean, I don't think it's going to happen. Oh, it'll happen with one of the up guys or whatever. But yeah.
But you're right. Getting back to the Journey Brown factor, a kid who ran in one game for 722 yards and 10 touchdowns in high school during his Meadville days in 2015. It's like, yeah, if I want to see a guy back there, I want to see him run. No brainer.
Right, exactly. I mean, he's not going to. Here's his chance to get his hands on the ball. I'm going. It's go time. What do you think, a kid from Michigan State or Ohio State? It's go time. That's what I think. That's why I saw that and I was like, okay. It screamed compromise. It screamed, we don't want to get rid of it, but we're on the pathway to doing it. And yeah, I know it's a dangerous play. I know you're. Yeah, and what's really hard about, let's take it one step further. What's really hard about CTE is that nobody knows you had it until you passed away and they've done an autopsy. It's the only way to find out. That's what's hard. And the next part is you don't know when someone got it. I mean, people have wondered, and I don't know if there have been any results. But, Aaron Hernandez, who took his own life, and the family talked about CTE. The question is, did he get CTE and concussions at Bristol Central High School in Connecticut? Or was he put on the path to it there? Did he get through Bristol Central no problem? And it happened in Florida. Or maybe it didn't happen in Florida. Maybe it happened just in the NFL. That's another part. No one knows when because you can't track it, you can't chart it. So I know they're trying to do everything they can to make the game as safe as possible. But can you make the game as safe as possible while also making it a little more entertaining? Some would say an onside kick with everybody diving in and bashing heads and everything like that to get to a football. Maybe if you run a play there, right, where you've got everybody on their feet and your team has to gain 10 yards like it's 4th down and 10, that might be a more entertaining and potentially safer way to handle that situation. So can you make it more entertaining while making it safer? That could be a possibility.
The Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
New Pro Football Hall of Famer Jerry Kramer.
Son, one of these days you're going to be the best guard in football. He let me know that he approved of me, that he believed in me, and he wasn't a man that dealt in idle chatter. If he believed in me, then I could believe in me, and it changed my life.
The Steve Jones Show, 3 to 5 weekdays on News Radio 1070 WKOK and on the WKOK app.
That is a conversation I want to have with Andy Russell someday. Andy Russell should be in the Hall of Fame. Simple. Simple as that. Is he one of the better linebackers in the history of the game? Yes, he should be in. And we talked about this earlier in the week. I hope someday I have that conversation on the radio with Andy Russell the same way we have with Jerry Kramer. Jerry Kramer waited decades for that moment. We had him on the show the day before he went in. And that of course, was him talking about Lombardi. Now, it helps in a lot of these interviews that we talked about age before, that I go back and I saw these guys play. So I can have a conversation with Jerry Kramer about Lombardi. Because guess what? I watch Lombardi coach. I watch Kramer play. I can do the same thing with Andy Russell with Chuck Noll.
Well, what was great about your interview with Jerry Kramer, you were getting into the crux of that 4th down play with the Bart quarterback sneak in the Ice Bowl. And it was just an angle. It was an angle that I had never heard of in any other interview in terms of what Jerry saw and what he was thinking and the instinct in that play of what he needed to do.
Right, because look, because Chuck Mersine thought that Bart Starr was going to hand the ball off to him. You watch Mersine on the play, number 30. And he ends up diving over the top of the pile because he thought he was getting the ball. Starr didn't tell him he was going to keep it. Kramer knew. The center, Kenny Bowman, knew. Starr knew. And he was able to make the block on Jethro Pugh because he had the angle on it, and Pugh was the kind of guy that on film study would elevate a bit. Jerry knew that. Look, all sports are angles. I mean, sports are fascinating, are absolutely fascinating if you think about geometry. You know, do you take the right route to a baseball in the outfield? The angle of it. Football's all about angles. Depths and angles and so forth. Hockey, basketball, you know, the cuts and everything. I mean, there's so much geometry in sports. Well, same thing on that. A block to open up a hole. You take the right angle and get leverage, and Kramer did on that play. I want to have that same conversation on this show with Andy Russell when he gets into the Hall of Fame. Because as far as I'm concerned, there should be a dramatic push to get it done. He's one of those guys that has been denied far too long.
Your station for news, weather, business, and CBS Sports Radio. News Radio 1070 WKOK Sunbury and on WKOK.com.